Um, Hello and welcome to Snobcast, the podcast for film snobs. Today's a lacquer episode because we're joined by my good friend and collaborator, Jason Watkins, our first guest over here on the Snobcast.
Nice.
Yeah, that's an exciting one. And yeah, Jason and I went to film school together. We still work together today on some projects and things. And yeah, if you want to just introduce yourself. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm honored to be the first guest. I've been on course, so hopefully it comes out all right. But yeah, like Kobus said, my name's Jason. Studied with Kobus for 3 years. It was a very difficult 3 years, as you can imagine.
Because you had to study with him, yeah.
No, I'm joking. I had to study. I had to deal with him constantly. Still have to today. But no, it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah, and we've got some exciting stuff coming up. None that I don't think I should share here. I'll leave that to you.
Eventually,
but
eventually we will.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Yeah,
yeah, thanks for having me. That's all I can say.
Well, then, other than that, I think we'll just go on as normal and we'll talk about some recent watches. We'll do our main discussion, which was Jason's recommendation this week, and we'll do some upcoming stuff. So who wants to kick us off with some recent watches?
I mean, my list is like I think I watched one movie and I literally watched it today between now and the last recording.
Yeah, because we recorded these two pretty like on top of each other. So I've also just got like two or three. Jason, do you want to go ahead and tell us about some of the stuff you've been watching?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching the podcast, and I don't want to bring it up too much because you guys have spoken about it at length, I think, at this point, or in the last episode specifically. But a recent watch for me has also been X.
Okay, cool.
X Pull Dune. I finally got around to watching that, so please forgive me. Don't come after me, but I loved it. It's
nice.
awesome. So yeah, super keen for part 2 to come out.
I'm really excited that you watched.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it took me that long. While I was watching it, I was like, why? I was disappointed in myself because I didn't go watch it in the cinema, but I won't be making that mistake again. It was an absolute like
no guarantee that the cinema viewing experience was going to be great.
Almar and I went to watch that in the cinema, and luckily it was my second time, but the most horrible theater experience.
It was my first time, and it's like there was some dark filter like laid over that film because like there's so many stuff where we couldn't see anything. And then when I eventually like rewatched it at home, because I was like, it doesn't feel like I watched that movie at all. And then I was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. So I had a very shitty theater experience. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, not great.
Yeah, that sucks because that's one of those movies that I think having an amazing like cinematic experience like in the cinema does wonders. I mean, it's Denis, so you know.
He's gonna like make the effort to get you in that seat.
Exactly, but and then what else have I been watching? I watched Bodies on Friday.
Ooh, I really like that.
I don't know. I think I feel about about Bodies the way you guys feel about X.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I don't know, guys. I really love X. I like the universe that they're building there. But again, I'm also, like I've told Kobus as well, I'm a big fan of like slashers and like old school, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. So like X for me was great because it was kind of like a reinvention of the genre, but also not really. There were a lot of familiarities there. And then I
think it was like
after that.
I haven't seen Paul, but X for me was like not necessarily a reinvention, but like almost a celebration of that genre. Like
it made me.
It's like very aware of the tropes.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't need to talk over you, dude.
No, okay.
But
Paul was great. I really enjoyed Paul. I've gotten them like meh on X, but I really enjoyed Paul. I think that was a great film.
Yeah,
I thought Bodies was also a slasher though, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bodies was a slasher until, the end you find out.
But you never see
which I think
the
is
slasher.
hilarious.
But you never see it. Yeah, you never
That's
see
true.
it coming though either.
Yeah.
Because
You
every
just
time
see people out, like you just see people out there. Oh wow, I guess you see the one kill with the.
But I can totally see you not enjoying that. Like, it's not a type of movie where I'm like, oh, everyone's gonna love this. Like, I totally get when people don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just I went in with no expectations and not really even knowing what it was about. Because when I see stuff like Bodies, or even X, anything by A24, really, I'm very skeptical. I really don't want to watch any trailers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch like the first 30 seconds, and then if I'm hooked, I'll check it out. And I did that with Bodies, and then when I got into it, I don't know. It was a fun ride. It was a good Friday night. It was a fun way to spend a Friday evening in load shedding. But I think just compared to like the other things I've seen over the last couple of like months, it just didn't do that much for me.
Fair enough.
But yeah, again, not to hammer on the X Pearl point here, but as I said, I'm really excited. And Pearl was better than X for me. But also like super interesting, just like watching Pearl. A lot of it felt like the old, like it was shot like Wizard of Oz, It felt
the colors really popped, and it's all like daylight and.
Yeah, and it looks like a stage.
And there is something like very Wendy-like about Mia Goth in Pearl.
Yeah. But also it's like there are like weird shots, like that one shot of the cow. It looked like it was an animatronic cow. And then in the next scene, it's a real cow. I don't know.
I don't remember that. I need to go recheck that.
It was very interesting, like visually interesting, and like the character of Pearl as well. And so I got to give you some facts here about Pearl and X because I watched the previous podcast.
Please do.
So Mia Goth, right, plays both Pearl and her character in X.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the old lady in X is Pearl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that.
No, I knew that.
Now we know that I like podcast episode came across as people being like, "Yeah, guys, you're not mentioning."
guys, it's the old lady, guys. Yeah. So I have to take this opportunity to tell you as a fan, listen.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's kind of what I've been watching. I've just been due X Pearl. I also checked out Underneath the Silver Lake with
what did you think of that? That's a very interesting movie.
It's very interesting. I don't feel like they stuck the landing for me. I just don't.
I didn't love it as much as nearly as much as I hoped I would.
The name is ringing a bell, but I actually have no idea what this is.
It's very interesting though. Like I will say, like it's been now like 2 or 3 years. It's not even. It's been like 4 years. I watched it when it came out, which was like 2018 or 17. And it's very interesting, and I don't remember liking it that much, but I do think it's kind of worth a rewatch, like a few years down the line.
Yeah, I need to separate myself from it first because it was very strange. Exactly. It was very because I like the whole conspiracy theory vibe. I think it's a good time. I'm a big fan of like X-Files, so watching that, I had like these expectations of like, it's Andrew Garfield, it's like kind of conspiracy theory-ish. And
it's got that LA vibe to it as well, which I like a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I just don't think it stuck the landing.
It was like a worse Inherent Vice, but like in modern times.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those are kind of just
that's my bringing up Paul Thomas Anderson for it.
We've probably spoken about him like every single episode.
Yeah, of course. I speak about him every day.
But it's Kobus.
My dad.
If Kobus is in anything talking about movies, PTS is going to come up.
Yeah, PTA will always come up.
Is going to come up.
You just asked Jason how my presentations and stuff are looking for a project.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Then if that's all you watch, then I guess we can ask Almar about his one movie.
Literally one movie. Sorry, I just put off my light. It's for a limit. I did literally earlier today, when I had load shedding, I was like, well, I guess it's time to watch Pinocchio. So I did that today. But I think you and I will have like a proper, like, we'll record an episode just for that, to like talk about it, I guess.
I think we should. I really like it.
But I mean, just like, yeah, on like surface, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it.
There's a lot of Pinocchio movies coming out these days,
right?
Guillermo del Toro making one. Yeah. You've got Tom Hanks, in another one. And then you've got Pauly Shore doing the voice of Pinocchio in a very, very terrible
That's a thing.
Pinocchio movie. Yeah,
and
go check it out, seriously.
There's also a game coming out inspired by Pinocchio called Lies of P.
Pinocchio making a big
It
comeback.
Looks like kind of maybe steampunky, but it's one of those Souls-like type games where it's going to be super difficult and fucking parrying and all that shit is going to be key. But I'll send you the link for it. It looks like beautiful and amazing, but yeah.
But I would say out of all those Pinocchios, Guillermo del Toro's one, unsurprisingly, is the one worth talking about the most, I would say. I watched it last night, so it's very fresh in my mind, and it was just so beautiful. So, I would definitely recommend that you check it out, Jason.
All right, I haven't seen a Pinocchio movie since I was like 6 years old, probably.
I nearly decided to bring you back. I nearly decided to rewatch like the classic, it was Disney, right? Disney one that I watched as a kid. Before I watched this, but then I was like, nah, I just want to watch this right now. So then I watched Guillermo's.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it to come out for a long time, so I just jumped on it as soon as it dropped.
All right, but is it I haven't even seen anything. Is it animation or
stop motion?
Live action?
It's stop motion animation. Yeah. And it's like so beautifully done. It's probably and I've seen it once, and it was last night. But it's like in the top of stop motion I've seen. Like, it's so beautiful and well done. Everything is so beautifully designed in the way that you would imagine Guillermo del Toro would design things.
Is it better than Wallace and Gromit though?
Debatable.
I wasn't a Wallace and Gromit person. I only saw Chicken Run as a kid.
Me neither, really. But I didn't want to be rude. I'm joking. I can't remember enough about it, but we'll have to get you back on an episode and do a Pinocchio, Wallace and Gromit.
Oh man, okay. Let's just see how this one goes.
We'll throw Chicken Run in there as well. Okay, well,
that's my one watch.
I guess I could just cross off Pinocchio as well, and that means I have 2 others. It's been a slow week, guys. I rewatched Marriage Story, which... Oh, wait, didn't I not say that last time?
You spoke about it already, yeah.
Okay, well, then there's one more. And I didn't even finish watching it. Also, last night, in load shedding, I started rewatch. It's literally open here on VLC. I have 20 minutes left of this before sunset.
Oh, nice.
Because it was load shedding and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, I just love the talking in that I could just listen to them talk forever. And I particularly like the conversations they have in Sunset.
I've recently done that where I put that on like twice in the evening on my laptop when I was like, I just want to like kind of fall asleep to some dialogue. Literally for 2 nights, I was like, thanks, I'll just put this on.
That was the idea, but then it's so good. You just start watching it because that movie is so good and it's so special to me, and the way they perform those characters and the chemistry, and like every line you can like dissect and like think about their thought process behind saying that, and like I don't know, there's so many little unsaid details, and it's just so well written and well acted. It's like and Richard Linklater also very much gets his reputation for being the invisible director with those films, because like they're so well directed, but not in a way that's like you would never even talk about the direction. Like it's just very like it hides itself in order for the characters and the dialogue and all that to just shine. It doesn't call attention to itself, so that's really nice. And then the other thing I watched was the film we'll be discussing at length. So,
yeah. One thing I forgot. One thing I did watch, not film though. I finished, which I've spoken to you about a few times. I just finished watching Undone, which was pretty fucking amazing. I definitely see it as a show that I'll like put on and watch again. I did literally just rewatch the whole first season before starting the second one.
right.
I don't know if you've seen it at all, Jason, or know of it, but very much would recommend. It's an Amazon series. It's like 2 seasons, and it's, what do you call it again? Rotoscope, right?
It's rotoscoped animation, so it's like live action, but they paint over it.
Yeah, but all I'll say is it involves a girl who, after being in an accident, she has to use certain methods to solve like her dad's murder, but I don't really want to say anything more than that.
More vague?
Okay. All right, I'll check it out.
No, pretty dope.
No, I've seen like bits of it, and it looks really like cool.
Yeah,
that style and everything.
They also they deal with like some very hectic like topics and shit. So yeah, but yeah, that was me.
Okay, cool. Well then, seeing as we all have some short lists and we're done with that, I think Jason should probably just introduce his recommendation.
Okay. What to say about what we're gonna review today? I mean, it's an all-time favorite. It's a classic. Okay, it never disappoints. Okay, it's Nicolas Cage at his best, and it is John Travolta at his craziest. I mean, what would you want, you know? And it's John Woo at wooiest, I feel. I mean, it's Face Off, guys. It's Face Off. Like, let's be honest, Face Off is great, and anybody who argues against that doesn't know what they're talking about. I mean, look, you've got like one of the best protagonists. Well, maybe not the best protagonist, but definitely the best antagonist in a movie that I've seen in a while. Dude. Like, Castor Troy is a crazy, crazy guy, and that's all he is. And that's great. I mean,
focus on the fact that his name is Castor Troy.
Castor Troy and Pollux Troy.
Yes, Pollux Troy. What a great name.
I mean, the movie is just so out there. It's one of the movies that I had on repeat as like a kid. You know, my dad knows the story, but my dad, when I grew up, he had a store. It was like a kid, you know,
lost you there for a second.
You know, I go pick something. Should I just start? Okay, so Kobus knows the story about my dad had a video store, so it was like a kid, you know, going into a candy store, and his dad is Willy Wonka, so I could just go in and pick what I want and go out and Face Off.
Nice.
Face is one of the topics for me. I don't know what that says about my parents letting a young kid like watch Face Off, but it was. I mean, I loved every second of it. Like,
you turned out great.
I mean, I turned out okay. I think you know, but I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it more. But I feel like the intro of Castor Troy's character is like one of the best ever. Like, you know, the guy's wearing a priest's outfit. You know, he's wearing a priest outfit after like putting on a bomb, like, and then walks out and starts singing with a church choir. And then, okay, he does some terrible things like grope a young lady whilst being in a priest's costume. But I mean, that immediately tells you who you're dealing with. You know?
Yeah,
so that's
you immediately know what kind of person he is.
Yeah, nice. And what kind of movie it is you're watching.
Well, for me, it was a bit of a different experience in terms of knowing what movie I'm watching, because I went in so blind.
I didn't tell you, Jason, but he has never seen this and he had no idea what it was.
I had like no like frame of reference or anything. I knew nothing about this. And I was sending Kobus some live commentary as I was watching it, but it was commentary just like, no. And then he's like, no, what? Such a broad context.
I was like, there's so much in this movie that you could be saying that for.
Yeah.
Like tell me more. Like, I love hearing from people who've never seen this movie, because earlier this year I watched it with one of my best friends, and he had never seen it either. And so, or actually, two of my best friends had never seen it. So I was like, you guys have never seen the best Nicolas Cage movie ever. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you. And I think they loved it, obviously. But they were like constantly asking me if it's supposed to be a comedy or not. I'm like, look, you could take it that way. I don't think that was planning on doing, but you could take it that way. I mean, you've got Nick Cage and John Travolta playing off of each other.
You really couldn't. They really couldn't have
what
cast this anymore perfectly. And in that same breath, I will say, if the casting was anyone else, what?
It was originally meant to be Schwarzenegger and Stallone, which also would have been great.
Yeah, like I could have seen classics thrown in it, like a Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme or like Chuck Norris.
It wouldn't have been the same.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like the fact that it is the two of these though makes it so much better, even though I don't know what to compare it with. But yeah, I kind of went in like I didn't even read like the little plot line or anything. I just like, right, this is what we're watching. Here we go. Because in general, I don't really like to watch trailers. And then film opens, kid gets shot, and I was like, all right. And then there's like the whole like ridiculous plane sequence and that whole bit. And then
he just throws a police officer out of the plane, and he's just like, oh, sorry. What?
He really is like off the bat is like at a full 150. Goes to levels.
But just John Travolta just also unnecessarily being like such a dick as well. He's like, I need to get this guy, and I don't care who's going to be in my way. He like plays
follow
chicken.
The rules.
Yeah, he's
I'll do whatever I need to.
I will kill.
I'm Sean Archer. Damn it!
I'm Sean Archer.
Or I'm
going to play chicken. I'm going to play chicken with a plane.
I actually had a massive question about that. What
and chicken out?
This is not the first time something like that happens in films. What is the purpose of playing fucking chicken with a plane? Like, what are you hoping to achieve? Like, the plane swerves out and
I think it's a if I die, you die kind of thing.
Yeah, let's go.
Anyway,
so serious about this or not, you know?
I wanted to just say I don't usually do this because I like to just watch movies and just watch them and enjoy them, but there was just so many things here that I didn't want to miss, so I have notes. I have plenty of notes on this movie. I'm not gonna go through them, but I just want to make sure I don't there's just certain things that I definitely want to bring up. But I just wanted to say this was the first 5 minutes of this movie I wrote. Immediately funny. Nick Cage sucks a straw. Why is he touching his kid's face like that? And then when he gets to to his office, John Travolta was like, yes, the wall of exposition. So much unnecessary slow motion, and then Nick Cage cunnilingus joke.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I can eat a peach for longer than
hours. I can eat a peach for hours, man.
And the peach comes back. It gets mentioned multiple times in the movie.
No, I don't know. He's got
there's a whole metaphor going on there.
Obsessed with peaches.
Call me by your name, eat your heart out.
Yeah, eat your peach out. No, don't eat the peach out. Don't eat the peach out.
So we were talking about whether this is like your friend saying like, is this a comedy or not? I don't think it was intention.
No, this is a serious action movie. Okay,
but
there are stakes.
I'm just gonna go out there and say for my own sanity that I think this movie is hilarious. I think it's great, and I'm like laughing straight through it. I think it's really.
I think
like
it's hilarious because of like how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, I think you saw my Letterboxd review, Jason, but I think it's a really good way of describing it. It feels like a fake movie.
Yeah.
Like it feels like one of those movies in a movie that like characters are watching. It's like
it feels like it'll be like
it's like Michael Scott's movie.
Sorry. If they had if they had this like playing in the background as like a fake movie in like 21 or 22 Jump Street, it would not be out of place.
Exactly. Like, it's like a parody of itself. Like you can't.
It's like a video game
like
as
well. Parody of this movie because it's already doing all the things that you would do in a parody.
Yeah. But
like when Nick Cage jumps out with the sideways guns, and I'm just like,
no, dude. The way, never mind the jumping, the way he rolls around on the floor, like between action sequences, like and then like rolls. I was like, that does not seem very efficient to me. Like I don't think that's going to work. But that adds to the beauty and the I nearly said and charm, but it's a very unique charm. That this film has.
But that's also just John Woo, man. I feel like John Woo, he shot this movie like he was directing a video game, man. Like like every fight scene, it's like you see the birds flying up.
Dude, I noticed there was like, and it was in the film, there was 3 different ones. We were dealing with seagulls, we were dealing with doves, and we were dealing with pigeons. I wrote down
seagulls ! And then I wrote down like 5 minutes after that, doves !
Did you get the pigeons as well?
No, I just got doves and seagulls. I thought the pigeons were doves as well.
But street rats.
I'm like, oh yeah.
No, I love this movie. But also just like what I love the most is this when the switch happens. When the switch happens where John Travolta becomes Castor Troy and Nick Cage becomes Sean Archer. John Travolta in this movie is awesome.
He is. I was gonna say the same. He stole the fucking show, and Nick Cage usually steals the show with his crazy.
How is he the over-the-top performance in this movie?
I mean, I think they just both nailed the character because there really is no difference. Like when you see Nick Cage in the beginning as Castor Troy, there's no difference. Like they really did a good job of like capturing the essence of Castor Troy with both of their performances. Like, I mean, when he's in the prison and he's like reveals to him that it's him, and he's like, "Ooh, yeah." It's like what? It's like. And he just looks ridiculous.
The way he's beating up the guy, and Nick Cage is also trying to act like Castor Troy, but it's John Travolta.
He's like, like Castor Troy.
And then the way he like looks at the guy like,
but not only that, I was jumping ahead here, but when he's at the like safe house and he's like a little high and he looks in the mirror and he has like this like meltdown. Like his facial expression, he's just like having this like meltdown. He's like, I've lost everything, you know. I've lost my family. I'm this like I'm this terrible person. It's just great.
Very early on in the movie, the first time when he gets the face, he looks in the mirror and he like freaks out. I wrote Nick Cage mirror scene, and then later for that scene, I wrote again another mirror scene. And then at the end, there's like in the last face-off, like pun intended, last face-off, they are
in front of the mirror.
And I was like,
at each other.
There's so much mirror stuff in this movie.
They kept nailing in these small things the whole time. Like
and they were really stuff. Like there's all these face stuff, like the face touching, which is
that's just too much, man.
That was just it was so on the nose. Like I get it, dude. You love your family, like.
And then like it's because like then when you have like John Travolta, but when it's Nick Cage, but it's John Travolta. When you have him like go to his house and like check out his daughter, you're like creeped out. But then you're also like, well, it's not her dad though. But I'm like,
to her it is her dad.
But to her it is.
It's so weird.
Creepy as fuck.
That's probably what the script for this movie looked like. Just like scribbled drawings.
But it like I understand like why they did certain things like the hand touching. It's all like indicators of like, okay, it's John Travolta's character. It's like, but like it was just so like on the nose, and they did it
done
so
in a
much.
way where it's like, how could they not see how funny that would be? Because
no one does
touches
that.
Anyone's face that way.
Like go to your mom, Kobus, go to your mom and do that, and just see what her reaction is gonna be.
Also that glorious like face massage after he like rubs it
he's like
against the
my
wall.
face itches, and he's like, oh, are you okay now?
Like...
And it's like the skin also looks so loose, and I was like, is that just Nick Cage face?
No,
I will say the makeup in this is really good.
Yeah,
like in the surgery scene and all that, it's like really well done, and you can always see there's like a very subtle scar here. I don't know if maybe I was just imagining that, but there is
like a little scar there, but also like look, it's an extremely ridiculous premise, but they sell it really well.
But so here's the other thing I thought, like if they had to take that premise today and with fucking real money, like do like a whole fucking sci-fi-esque or whatever like thing on it, I think it would probably not seem as ridiculous as this movie does. Like a concept of taking someone's face off, it'll be super futuristic and shit, and it'll just all seem like, yeah, cool.
I don't know if you still take the same beats, like him sleeping with the guy's wife, like that's still ridiculous. Like how does she not notice?
Yeah.
But
did they end up sleeping together?
Brings up,
I
think
they did. I can't remember. They did. He even talks about sleeping with her.
I thought it was like he's just telling him he boned his wife.
I think there were some events that definitely kind of implied to me that they definitely did sleep together.
I also read it that way, and what's funny about that for me is there's the scene where Castor Troy beats up the daughter's boyfriend because he's like trying to assault her, and I was like, first of all, that is some very, very creepy casting because that actor has sexual harassment charges against him. And second, I was like, so he's like against sexual assault, but what he's doing with the wife is technically sexual assault.
Technically, it is. Complete, yeah.
But I'm like, and at that point, I'm also like, are we supposed to root for him now? Like, what is the scene?
It was in moments like that where I was like, oh god, is this movie gonna try and take this turn where they're really gonna try and humanize him and like have him change? And I was like, and then he's essentially going to embody the husband, and they essentially through method are going to become each other. And because I was like, I wouldn't put that past the Nick Cage project.
Yeah, but was that just remind me, I know I watched this last night, but was that scene, did that happen after the shootout where Pollux Troy dies?
I don't think.
Does
he like?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
But yeah, that was a weird scene. That was a weird scene because you're like, am I supposed to root for him? Like he's like this whole movie, he's been this like terrible person, and now he does like one redeeming thing, but it's not going to soften the blow.
It's the same thing with his crew when Archer goes to the crew as Nick Cage. There's also a lot going on there where I'm like, are we supposed to root for these people? Like the mother with the daughter, I was like, are we supposed to like root for her now? And I also just wrote down like twice Mom of the Year because she's a horrible mother. And I'm like, am I supposed to feel sorry for her for like bringing her son to this crime den and then a shootout happens and everyone's taking drugs?
But also like, I found it kind of weird, like, because that's Castor's kid, right? And then at the end of the movie, he adopts him. And I'm like, okay, but
like
that's
a replacement.
I'm like, you still might have some problems here when this kid gets older because somebody as crazy as Castor Troy, you got to assume like that shit's gonna, trickle down in the family,
That's the sequel.
Very possible, very possible. I hope so. Imagine that. Imagine that.
The kid does face off with someone, I don't know.
But with Nick Cage's face. Because we need to have Nick Cage back again. So
John
he's going to just
Travolta,
wear his
big
own
version
dad's face.
of those two actors. Who's
John
today's
Travolta's
version
going to
of
be the
Nick Cage
kid.
and John Travolta.
John
What?
Travolta's going to be the kid.
Sean Archer's going back and he's taking the face of his kid because Castor Troy wants to meet his son.
Papa?
And then he's like, no. He's like, no, I will not.
Hey guys,
But like a
after this
really
session, we're
bad
gonna
job though.
sit
Like
down
the
and
skin is just all like
Yeah, everything's
misproportioned on
there,
his
and then you
face.
still have like his butt chin, you know, like.
And then the moment you do that with a kid, the whole face just comes off.
Oh.
Okay, so after this, we're starting to write this. I hope.
Look, if you can make a Christmas movie now that is very much telling you that it's inspired by Die Hard, I was like, I think we can do a film that we're like, we love Face Off, we're using this, and we will make something new. Or do you just want to write the sequel?
And let's just write the sequel and see what happens, you know. Let's not limit ourselves, because I'm pretty sure they didn't limit themselves when they wrote this script. That's for sure.
Can I just say that because I went in so blind with this, when I told Kobus just like no, the first no was at the part where, like, I'm just gonna refer to these people as John Travolta and Nick Cage because character name. When he goes and they would like kind of show him like, oh, we still have fucking Castor Troy's body. And immediately then when I saw like the tech they were busy with, I was like, oh, I think I know what's coming. And that's when I told Kobus, no. And he's like, well, didn't you know that happens? That's the whole premise of the film. And I was like, no, I thought like kid dies in the beginning and then Nick Cage dies. So I thought this was going to be some deep character study into the 5 years between the death of the child and now. And I was like, it's going to be like if you ordered Prisoners off Wish. Like that was what I was expecting. And then I was like, oh boy, was I so wrong. And then Kobus was yeah, it's just about them playing each other. I was like, wait, what do you mean playing each other? He's dead. And Kobus is like, oh, just wait. I was like, wait, what? And then like the whole other switch, and I was like, oh my god, you have got to be shitting me.
Yeah, the whole scene where he like pops up and his head's all wrapped and he like takes it off and you don't see it. I love that though. I
love
that they give that quick cut.
Yeah, little glimpses. Yeah. But when he's like talking on the phone and he has like that laugh that really like, because he doesn't have any like lips, I'm assuming. So he's like trying to talk.
I just want you to know my crew over here to come.
But yeah, where he's like walking and he's smoking a cigarette and he's just like clap brah, fucking bo, and it's just the cuts. I love that scene.
And it's
so good.
It's what is it? It's like, what do you want? Take one goddamn guess.
Yeah.
Also, the scene with where Over the Rainbow plays was great.
I was watching that. I was like, wow, what? This is the song we're choosing.
That so also perfect. Feels like a parody thing. Like it feels like the song they would use in a parody of this movie.
Also, initially, I thought this was just going to be one big joke because when they have like the whole plane scene, when that whole shootout is happening, there's like immediately guy you see the wire attached to the back of him and he's like walking and then you see the wire and you see him like fly across. I was like,
this is some of the
so this is the right way in
to hide stunt doubles.
I didn't even think they were trying. I think they was just yeah, this is it.
That last shot where they fly out of the boat is like, that is not them. It's just very clearly not
you could just clearly see it's just like stunt people. But but that shootout at the beginning at the airport, like just John Travolta, man. Like everybody's getting shot to shit around him and he's just running and he's like jumping on the back of the car and he's just shooting. It's like Nicolas Cage is like the best aim if it's anybody except John Travolta.
I was like, yo, for a cop, your aim is fucking very shut.
Yeah.
At some point, I wrote down stormtroopers.
Yeah.
But wait, isn't there a whole argument about they miss on purpose because they're not supposed to shoot them, the stormtroopers? There's like a whole theory behind why they miss, right? There's a whole theory behind that.
I mean, look, Star Wars is Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars is Star Wars. A space opera.
To like make it make sense.
But hey, Matt, do you know that cop that gets shot in the ear and then he like as the scientist is like
they're
explaining
making
how
the
the
new
tech
ear
works,
for him. Yeah,
they're like, imagine being that guy, right? Your ear gets shot off, you get a brand new ear, and then like in the next shootout scene, your boss kills you, or who you think your boss is. He just straight up shoots you in the head. There's that guy gone. Like went through all that effort to get a new ear,
is that
and
the
then
guy,
just gets shot in the head.
Is that the guy that he shoots after his brother dies?
Yeah, where the guy comes, it's like, why are you laughing? It's only Pollux Troy, and then he's like, boom, shoots him right in the head.
I was just like,
that poor
are there
guy.
no other people around? What's happening?
Also, I like how are they gonna how's it gonna explain that when they like do the forensic evidence? Like they get, let's say, maybe I'm going too much into the CSI business, but like we're talking about a movie here where people can swap faces. Yeah. And you're like, you're gonna tell me that you're not gonna know that it was his gun that shot that.
Yeah, he was not using John
FBI
Travolta's
or whoever he works
licensed
for
weapon.
Use special bullets as well, you know.
But again, you know, it's face off. You know, it's just a fun ride. You just gotta look past the face swipes and the things that don't make sense. And just
I don't remember if they clarified this, and if I just not forgot. How did they end up clearing up to everyone else besides, like, he obviously convinced his wife, but how did they clear up the fact that, oh, this is what happened, this is actually my husband, the faces were swapped, because everyone was killed who knew about the project, right?
The blood type was different.
Oh yeah, the blood type thing.
At the end he broke the like voice modulator thing that changed, so he was speaking in Sean Archer's
John Travolta voice.
Yeah, they both have John Travolta.
I was just like, this is very, but people also, believe this very easily.
That's also a very like convenient thing where there are multiple other times in the movie where his throat is being like strangled or whatever, and you're like, is it gonna happen now? And then at the end he's just like, okay, cool.
I was like convinced this was like gonna happen in the prison, like he was gonna get punched and then the brother was gonna get suspicions. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're just doing it so he can convince his wife it's him.
Also, I just wanted to say one of the funniest lines I've ever heard in my life is, why didn't you just kill yourself or let it go?
Oh, I thought it was the one about, what was it? With this thing and this thing and this chin? Are you kidding me?
Dude, that's so funny. That's just John Travolta tuning himself. It's great.
Yeah, I was like, this is golden.
A fact that I read last night was also because I also thought that was funny because his chin looks,
dude, like that's his dimple. It's like
his chin in this movie is like it doesn't look the same in any other movie. Like in this movie specifically, his chin is kind of whack. But like
it looks like a cartoon drawing of what a handsome man with a strong fucking jawline and chin would have been. Like fucking He-Man or something.
I swear they like added some extra shading in the little dimple, man. Because but yeah, in the trivia that I read, it also said that John Travolta asked the writers if they were making fun of him about the chin line, and they were like, no. They were like, no, it's just Castor Troy is he's such a self-absorbed guy that he would hate being in anybody's like body. So, but I feel like that was just like to be like, no, John, you've got a great chin. Don't worry about it, man. Yeah. Don't worry. Just say the line. Just say the line though.
I read a great review on Letterboxd for this that quoted the daughter at the end that goes, "Tell me what planet I'm on." And then the guy's like, "Planet Woo, baby."
Yeah, this movie, like, look, this movie is like the stars aligning, because let's be honest, they don't really make movies. They don't make action movies like this anymore, right? This is
when you recommended it, you and I were also talking about Con Air, and I think it's like in that same kind of era.
Yeah, it's very much in the same vein, you know. But like this movie is just, it's just a great watch every time. Like it's one of, especially if you watch it with people who've never seen it, so like you get to watch it, you know, through their eyes, and it just, yeah, man, it's John, like I said, the stars aligned with this one, because it wouldn't be the same without John Woo, Nick Cage, and John Travolta. Like just those three, who knew? You know, it's a magic.
I'm planning on actually delving into a bit of a John Woo watch, because I told Kobus just before you recommended this, John Woo was just coming up kind of in media and stuff I've been like consuming, I was like, well, wait, it's a sign. So I'm actually going to check out a few more John Woo films, but I'm sure nothing will ever be Face Off.
Face Off was his best creation.
No, look, there are a lot of... There's a part, I can't remember it now, but I just see that I wrote down here, he face, but like in all caps and exclamation points. I recall someone going, face, at some point, or you're just like, I don't know.
I definitely recall them, like, wasn't there a part of the film where someone literally kind of says, it's a face off or something like that? I feel like there was like a...
Nicolas Cage goes, I'm going to take his face
off. That's
yeah. I mean, come on. Just so great, man. And then the guy's like, you're going to take his face? He's like, I'm going to take his face off. It's like, okay, dude. He's like, okay, dude. Like, okay. Why don't you go lay down? Okay.
They literally they said no more drugs for him.
Also, can I just say, but the shootout when, like, they're now, like, where he's with Cass's kid and the woman, no one cared for any child safety there. Not even the cops. Everyone's just like, bah, 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 bah. We don't care where these bullets are going. There was the
one time where he's like, put the kid down.
There was one time. But all the other times, people were just shooting like, if it hits the kid, it hits the kid. It was like, yeah, I see that child. I'm just going to continue unloading.
Everybody in the FBI team in this movie was just like Danny DeVito in Always Sunny. He's like, I just thought a blast, okay? I don't care. I just thought a blast.
It's Always Sunny. I've never seen it.
It's on, all of it's on Disney Plus. You should definitely check it out.
I've watched like episodes here and there. It's also one of those I still want to actually fully delve into.
It's Danny DeVito Wolverine casting. When's that happening?
What?
There's a petition. There's like a petition with like a shitload of signatures that Danny DeVito should be the next Wolverine.
Oh man, I mean, would I be surprised if he gets cast?
I think I would be pretty surprised.
No, of course I would be, but that's not gonna happen. I'm sorry, guys, but no, man, this movie is fantastic, and I wanted, when I picked it, when I initially, like, when Kobus asked me if I wanted to do the podcast, I was like, okay, but I want to try and get something unique, try and get something a little bit more fun. And I was just like, look, there is no other choice. It just has to be Face Off, because Face Off.
When you said it, I was like immediately excited.
Face Off is just one of those ridiculously fun movies, because that's what it is. It's just a ridiculously fun action.
It's a good time.
You know.
I will say that in this like sub-genre or like vibe of 90s cheesy action movies, Con Air is still my favorite, and that's my favorite Nicolas Cage performance. His southern accent, all of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
The hair.
Academy Award-winning actor Nicolas Cage.
Yes, don't sleep on that. Yes.
I'm very happy about this recommendation. I don't think I would have necessarily watched this film otherwise. It would have just gone straight past me. I feel like my life has been enriched.
Okay, well, that's great. I love that. But tell me a little bit more about, since it was your first time, you know, how was it, like, overall? I know you've given like little bits here and there, but
because the fact that I was so blind, like, it was a ride from the start. I was like, I actually, every time I think I know what's going to happen next, they're like, And
also, like, within the first 2 minutes of the movie, you're already like, what's going, like, Nicolas Cage sucking on the straw with a mustache, and
with like a thick mustache.
So you're already like, what's happening?
No, I mean, the moment he steps onto that plane as well, besides like groping the choir girl before, also when he steps on that plane and it's just like the air hostess or whatever that's on there, I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
The suck my tongue scene.
Which
also gets said twice in the movie.
No, man, this was like all around such a fucking like ridiculous time. I don't really know what to say much more than we've collectively kind of said already. Like, I can't imagine this film really existing in any other form other than it is in right now. Like,
yeah,
I wanted to know like what the pitch was going in, and like because it's like, right, this is I want to make this movie and this is what we're gonna do and these are the actors, and they'll be like, but I guess also at this time Nick Cage and John Travolta were probably also like,
they were both pretty big
fucking peak, like
they were at the height of their powers.
Actors were doing blockbusters, they selling at the box office. This is gonna be great. And it was.
Yeah. It was. It really but the thing is like they do make movies like this these days, but it's like death, like stuff that Bruce Willis is in now, and even John Travolta is still doing movies like Face Off today, but they just don't like. I don't know.
But I must say, I was also super impressed with like the effects and stuff of it. The one thing I couldn't get over though was the literal suction cup sound when they like,
yeah,
like a.
Did you see, Jason? Did you ever see The Fanatic?
No, I haven't seen it.
John Travolta.
He looks so whack in that movie. He looks so
his
wild.
His first line of dialogue in that movie is, "I need to take a poop."
Of course it is. Of course it is. Well, I think that tells me everything I need to know about that movie.
It does, and also it's directed by the guy, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, I think. And
he directed the film. I remember
that. There's a scene in the movie, yes, and there's a scene in the movie where the character is listening to Limp Bizkit in the car, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is some good shit."
That's like Jared Leto playing 30 Seconds to Mars in a movie that he's in.
Yeah,
that's so weird. That's weird. But yeah, man.
Jason, I wanted to say, I think this will make you very happy in terms of recommending this. So I had seen it before, but like many years ago, and I remember like enjoying it a lot in the same way I did now. But having watched it again now, a bit older, because I think I was like high school the last time I watched it. I think it's gonna make its way into my rotation, which
awesome. Yeah, man, I watched this movie probably like, okay, this year I've seen it 3 times. Okay.
Okay.
But it was just because I watched it and then I was like reminded by it, and then I told friends about it. They never saw. I obviously had to watch it for them, and then I watched it in preparation for this. So I'm probably good for the next 2 years. But
I'll probably it'll be
around.
A movie that I bring up in like a circumstance where you're like a bunch of friends and you want to watch a movie.
Yeah, Trolls 2.
It's gonna make its way into that rotation.
It is such a fun watch it's such a crowd pleaser. Like it's very much like it's a lot of fun watching it with friends, sitting down watching it with friends, maybe taking some illegal substances and enjoying it, so but no, it really is.
That's my plan for the next one.
I'm very, very happy to hear that it might be making a rotation, so yeah, definitely. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'll put it in there with the box of like Trolls 2. I'll like they will be in that box of films that if I want to show something ridiculous.
I think
no, not in terms of no. Look, no. I mean, in terms of how bad they are, no. But Trolls 2 like is also one of those where
on another level.
I'm not gonna watch it on my own. That's something I will sit down and watch with friends again, because that film is just so fucking ridiculous.
There's nothing redeemable about that.
No.
but I think, Almar, if you're gonna do a deep dive into John Woo, you might. I think look, John Woo is a great director. I love a lot of his movies. But it's like Face Off to me is like next level compared to any of the other stuff.
Peak John Woo.
It's just peak John Woo. Honestly, it really is. So yeah. I'll be interested to see where it falls on your John Woo list once you've done it.
Okay, I'll keep you updated.
Are his other movies also like kind of ridiculous, or are they more grounded?
They're more like Japanese kind of
like
movies,
action,
like with Jet Li and
like Jet Li action movies and all that.
But also like very stylized. Yeah, but that's the thing. But it's also like very stylized. Like this is, you're gonna get a lot of slow-mo. You're gonna get a lot of slow-mo wind jacket shots, like guns coming out.
All the classic like action stuff.
Yeah. So
cool.
But yeah, I do feel like Face Off was like his most like out of left field, like whack movie that he's done. And I think it's because the studio was like, the involvement from the studio side is very little, so he could just do his thing. So
and that was the best thing for this film. I'm very happy about that.
And let's be honest, the best thing probably for most films. If the studio
don't interfere with the creative process.
I don't want to say that it's impossible for a studio to give good notes, because it is, but because it's not, they can, but more often than not, it's not a good thing. But unless any of you guys had more you wanted to say about this, I think we should probably move on to the upcoming stuff, which Almar,
I'm all faced off and good.
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, I could eat a peach for hours, but let's move on.
That's the sign off.
Yeah. All right. I think we should all do it. Let's just all do one.
Okay, I'm sure you have a list for us.
Yes, see, assuming much. Am I on the job of keeping track of this? However, I do have a list.
You are every week, so
I do have a list actually. Some movie news.
So you just wanted to tune me for no reason, basically.
Yep. Right, so let's kick off some fucking movie news. Something I actually forgot to mention in the previous episode is in 2 days, December 13th, we have some 3 very lekker VOD releases, which is Bones and All, which I cannot wait to watch. Then Banshees of Inisherin, if I'm remembering that right, and The Fabelmans. So yeah, all 3 of those are coming out on the 13th. Which I'm pretty keen to see all of them, but I guess I'm probably really gonna jump on Bones and Fabelmans, and then I'll get around to Banshees.
So my immediate reaction to this was, I'm gonna immediately watch Bones and All on the 13th, and I'm gonna follow it up with Banshees. I'm probably gonna wait to watch The Fabelmans in theaters when it comes out here on like the 22nd or something.
Oh, is it coming? Okay, great.
Yeah. And I would prefer to just watch that in the cinema.
Right. Yeah, so that's lekker. I don't know if you're looking forward to any of those, Jason.
I'm looking forward to, I haven't heard of Banshees. Is that the one with
That's the new Martin McDonagh movie. Yeah, it's Colin Farrell
is it the Colin Farrell? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm definitely keen on seeing that. But yeah, I think out of all of them, it's probably Fabelmans first, Bones and All, and then
Banshees. That's the top one for me too.
I think mine is Bones, Fabelmans, Banshees.
Look, the thing is, I think they're very different movies. Obviously, I think the Fabelmans for me is just like feels like it's going to be one that hits me in a very specific emotional way. It's the love of movies. It's Spielberg's love of movies in particular.
It's Spielberg's love letter, you know. So you gotta watch it. You
gotta watch it in theaters if you can.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, then we have a release date for a Wes Anderson film, which would be the 16th of June 2023, called Asteroid City. And we have Scarlett Johansson, Bryan Cranston, Maya Hawke, Steve Carell, Jeff Goldblum, Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks, Margot Robbie, to name but a few.
I'm really excited about Steve Carell joining the Wes Anderson world.
the universe, the Western verse.
Yeah, I feel like he fits that role. Like, he's such a good character actor that anything that Wes throws his way, he'll be able to do.
Yeah, I'm always like keen for whatever he's bringing out next. So whenever that comes out, I'll definitely be jumping on it. Well, not whenever. For now, the 16th of June. It's like so far in advance to have a release date, but I guess that is how these things go. Then we spoke about this quickly last night. I don't really have too much to say about it, but the fact that Lilo and Stitch live action is happening.
A Lilo and Stitch live action.
Apparently,
it could be pretty cool. Let's give it a chance.
I mean, I'm always like give things benefit of the doubt, but this was like the last fucking film I would have expected them to fucking like go for a live action.
Please stop, Disney. Please stop.
Yeah, I'm just get some original IPs and stop remaking. Well, yeah, just stop remaking shit. I don't know.
It's got a director attached to it. It's Dean Fleischer Camp who made Marcel the Shell, which is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Why does Disney keep taking amazing filmmakers and making them do soulless work?
But yeah, that's happening. Then I saw you sent this to me. I didn't really check out too much of it, but the Variety's Directors on Directors list came out, which
is like, why is Taylor Swift on there?
Yeah. Who on that note is directing a film, which
she's preparing to shoot a feature apparently. Which is like cool. Get her on the Directors on Directors then, after she's made a movie.
Yeah, what she shot like a music video or documentary. I mean, she shot
a short film.
It was like a short film
video.
Yeah, about like apparently about like her relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Which I don't think is enough of a thing to get you on the year's Directors on Directors panel with all the people who made features that year. You know, like what?
Okay, but it is Taylor Swift. So let's just
I don't want the Swift. I don't want the Swift.
I know
Taylor Swift panels are gonna come on.
I know, bro.
Don't
I know. Trust me. I know. You can ask Almar. I always tell him like the Swifties, man.
They're gonna come for us.
The Swifties are coming for you, dude.
When we saw that she was gonna direct a feature, I told Almar immediately. I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be the highest grossing movie of all time."
Yeah. Because
every Swiftie is just going to go see it 10 times. You know, they are obsessed with her. They would go to war for
her. Okay, yeah. So before they come for us, let's move on.
You know,
just being clear, no offense to Taylor Swift whatsoever. Please don't kill me.
Don't come for me.
Yeah. You know, she might even outperform Avatar. You know, too. Wouldn't that be fun?
I mean, she might direct an incredible film. You know, anything is possible.
Yeah,
I'm being James Cameron.
I'm open. I'm definitely open to her making a good movie. I don't think she's incapable of that.
Just imagine your James Cameron working like over 10 years on a sequel, and then Taylor Swift.
We just froze on Taylor Swift.
Anyway, who knows? Anyway, let me get off Taylor Swift. Sorry, I don't want to.
No, it is happening already because like I think when her short film dropped on Letterboxd, it like immediately became one of the top 250 Letterboxd movies. I was like, how? That's just like Taylor Swift fans logging that film over and over and giving it 5 stars.
Yeah. But yeah, fucking there's that. Then next we got what did we? He's back.
No,
there we go.
Yeah.
Also, this meeting is ending in a minute and a half.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll just quickly start another one. We're basically nearly done, but we'll just get another one. Next, there was also news about Daniel Craig and Luca Guadagnino for Queer, which I don't know if we know much about it other than who's attached to the project.
Great actor trying to get an Oscar playing gay.
No. Which is a discussion all on its own. Then I know Infinity Pool dropped a trailer, which that looks interesting.
I was telling you earlier, it's very interesting to me that how much Brandon Cronenberg is like following in his father's footsteps.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the other like Sofia Coppola doesn't make movies the way Francis Ford Coppola does, but Brandon Cronenberg does seem to lean into his dad's sensibilities, which is interesting.
But yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, it looked interesting. I didn't really get much more than that from it. I just watched the trailer for Marina, which
which I sent you.
Yeah, which looks very, very, very cool. Actually, I quite like that trailer, and I'm definitely interested and intrigued.
Yeah, I think I heard about this one like a while back when it was playing festivals and stuff, and I kind of forgot about it. It slipped my mind, and then recently, yesterday, I was just reading a best directorial debuts of the year list, and it was on there, and I was like, oh yeah, this movie, and it's executive produced by Scorsese, so you know he's got his
by her name and director is Antonetta Alamat, and I am gonna probably mispronounce her surname. So
yeah, it's really, I think it's like Russian or Ukrainian or something.
But yeah, that looked pretty
Not
dope.
to get political.
Then one of my next favorites, we got a new one for that, and actually you told me, and I watched it the other day, was a new trailer for the film that I absolutely is my most anticipated of all time, the incredible 5-star film called Megan.
Yeah. Have you seen this trailer, Jason?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard anything about it?
Never heard.
You need to. The moment this is done, you need to go and watch both of the trailers.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave it
at that.
I don't
even know if I should say anything. Yeah, just go watch it.
It's
plain.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Then there's a documentary that's coming out or he worked on a documentary. I'm not sure if this is a documentary by Roger Ross Williams called Cassandra, which is about a gay wrestler. So I don't know if this is a biopic or if it's a documentary.
He is a director. He is a documentary filmmaker, but this is his first narrative fiction feature.
But it's an autobiography, right?
Yeah, it's a true story, and it's starring Gael Garcia Bernal, who is amazing.
But yeah, I don't know much about Cassandra or the history of being a gay wrestler, but not a wrestler who happens to be gay. But yeah, so that's happening. And then the last thing, I also have no reference to this because I haven't seen the first one, but Reese Witherspoon and Alexander Payne is working on a sequel to a 1999 film called Election, and this one's called Tracy Flick Can't Win. I'm not sure because the caption was very weirdly structured. I think it's called Tracy Flick Can't Win. Me neither.
But I know it's a very, very beloved movie.
I don't know do you know anything about it, Jason? I have no reference at all.
It's a very beloved movie. It's like a old 90s comedy. It's got a cult following. Like a lot of people really love it. So interesting that they want to do a sequel. I'll definitely, now that they're doing one, bump Election up on my watch list because I have been meaning to watch that for a long time.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for movie news. I think the only thing we have.
Sorry, I don't know if you guys saw. There was a small teaser for Bong Joon-ho's new movie.
Yeah, we spoke about this on the last. Yeah,
it was just one shot.
It's one shot, but I'm already
I'm in.
Great, I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm in.
It's already my favorite film of the year.
It's all I need to see. It's all I need to see. I don't need to see anything else.
What you just said, Almar, it was my reaction to when we heard about the new Yorgos Lanthimos movie. Which is it's starring Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone, I think. And then I was just like, okay, this is going to be my favorite movie that year. And Willem Dafoe.
And whenever PTA is releasing his next one, that'll be
that'll be my favorite. I'll say that, but I mean, Licorice Pizza wasn't my favorite film of last year, so it's up there.
But yeah, I guess you can have the honors of, if we are wrapping it up, have the honors of introducing what we'll be doing next week, because did it change now? Or it might be Bones.
I'm just gonna say, so we're planning on having a very special guest on next time, a friend of mine from Spain. He runs a great Instagram page called New Cinema Excelsior on Instagram page on Instagram. And he's a lovely dude, and he's got great cinema sensibilities. So we're excited to talk about him. He wanted to talk about Luca Guadagnino, and we just weren't sure yet what the story was with Bones and All and whether it will come out here. So the plan was to talk about Suspiria, but I'll talk to him. We'll see. Maybe we do Bones and All. Maybe we just do a whole Luca Guadagnino thing. We'll check on the next one.
Yeah, it'll be probably between Luca or Suspiria or Bones and All or everything all together. Yeah. But yeah, then that's it, my Bruce.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Jason for being here.
Dude, thanks so much. It was dope having you.
Yeah, I hope it was all right. Yeah, I'm glad you guys have. I'm just glad you guys had fun with Face Off. It's always fun. And that's the last thing I'll say.
No, it won't be the last thing. I'm sure we're gonna get you back for some more recommendations.
Well, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, and we'll just mention it vaguely again that Jason and I are working on some exciting things together. So by a time that those things start shaping up a bit more and materializing a bit more, we'll maybe have you back on and we can talk some stuff.
We can do a deep dive.
Yeah, and then other than that, Almar, I'll see you on the next recording. Jason, I'll probably see you in this week for a meeting.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, lekker. It's been real, guys.
Thanks, guys. And always remember, Face Off, dude. All right.
All right, peace out.
Cheers, guys. Bye.